Hello, it is August the 14th today. I'm finally getting round to actually making Bert the Fledgling. So I'm just going to show you what I'm looking at. So you can see my coffee in the background, ignore that of course. So here is the pattern. As you will have seen earlier on in the footage, I opened the Toft box and showed you the colours that I was given. So this is the pattern. Obviously I'm not going to share it with you, not completely anyway. So these are the colour variations. So it talks a little bit about tension beforehand. It should be approximately 12 centimetres. So after the pattern, it's got some more information. So it's got the different body parts. So it looks as though it's made with 2 wings, a beak, the body and head are one, the feet are separate and the eyes as well. The colouring page, I'm not quite sure why. For fun, I guess. And then at the end, it has techniques and some hints and tricks as well. These are the different colours. So the ones that I got were this one, like a turquoisey colour. I got this grey and this light green as well. And it's just got some ideas for other patterns. I'll switch you back round. So just a quick scan of the pattern. I won't share it because I will respect Toft and it's a paid for pattern. So it's got details for the body and the head is worked in the same colour. Then you've got the feet, you've got the legs and the thighs, you've got the beak, then you've got the top and the eyes, wing 1, wing 2, the tail and the feathers. Oh. It says that the pattern should only take 1 to 5 hours, so I think I will do the same and time how long it takes. Just reading the pattern, it seems like there's going to be a lot of different pieces to add. Obviously, I haven't read it fully, and what I find is when I actually do the pattern and I actually start going through and crocheting things, it makes a lot more sense. But when you read it out of rhythm, it's a little bit confusing. So I think it makes most sense to start from the body and the head, so that's what I'm going to be doing. It's 27 rounds, so it shouldn't take me too long. Let me start a timer and I will see you in a bit. So I am 32 minutes in. I have not got that much done, to be honest. I've just done the top of the head. I finished some rounds of the head and I've pretty much left it at that. So I need to go and pick up my husband, but because I haven't been crocheting for a little while, my hands were cramping quite. So they weren't necessarily cramping, but they were getting quite sore because I haven't used them for a while to crochet with. So they were getting quite sore. I took a break in between sort of round 8 and 9, and then I finished the repeats just so that they are done. I will continue with this tomorrow. Tomorrow morning I'm editing some videos, and then in the afternoon I will continue crocheting. I think this isn't going to be a slow process, but I will probably have to structure it over the next few days because, as I said, my hands are not used to the tightness of my crocheting. So yeah, hopefully by the end of tomorrow I will have finished the body anyway, and then for the rest of the parts, so the wings, the feet, the legs, the eyes, etc., they're smaller bits, so hopefully they won't take as long to do. Hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow. So it's Friday afternoon. I am just about to start crocheting again. I am just going to put the stopwatch on. And just as a reminder, I am currently on row number 13. So I'm just going to get my pattern up again. I should have done that really. Here we go. The pattern is up now, and that's what I'm going to be doing, continuing to work on his head. Hoping to finish the head and the body today, and then I can work on the features another day, hopefully. Right, I need to concentrate now. Just in terms of what I'm doing whilst I am crocheting, I am trying to get through some of my YouTube to watch list because it's quite long at the moment. So watching other crocheters, what they're getting up to, and yeah, getting some project ideas. So I'm making the pattern at the moment. I was literally just where I stopped it yesterday, was just before the decrease. So I'm just decreasing, presumably for the neck. It doesn't actually say to stuff it, it just says to stuff it at the end, but I think by that point it will be too small to stuff. So I've seen my mistake early and I'm going to add the stuff in now, otherwise I don't think it's going to get through that hole. Look how tiny it is. Look how tiny that hole is already. I think I'm going to struggle to stuff it, but I'm going to do it now before I struggle anymore. Yeah, I'm looking at the pattern. It doesn't say to stuff it. It says to stuff it at the end, so strange. But I've made the executive decision to stuff it, so. So I have just finished the head and the body. I'm just going to sew it together while I'm talking, while I'm chatting to you. Yeah, so I didn't realise that the pattern starts with the body. So I've just finished the head, which is not an issue. I maybe wouldn't have stuffed the head so much, or I would have stuffed the body a little bit more if I'd have known that was the body and not the head, if that makes sense. Let's see, sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. Yes, you're working. So as I was saying, to be honest, my hands have been a little crampy, so I don't know whether to make some of the other bits or whether to just leave it for today and do some reading or something different instead. Don't know. But although a little misshapen, here he is at the moment. You've got the head is a bit smaller and the body is quite fat, which it would be because it's a little fledgling. There's no right or wrong way because it's all the same. But yeah, that's so far, that for me took me 1 hour and 20 minutes. So yeah, with a minute or so of filming because I forgot that I was filming, but not a big problem. I will try and do some more over the weekend maybe. So it is Sunday. I am just starting the next part of Bert the Fledgling. So last time I finished his head and his body, and now the next thing to make it are the feet. So it's 4, so there's 3 rounds split into 3 rounds of 4 stitches and work each of the follows. Okay, so it seems a bit fiddly. I think it will be very similar to the fingers that I did for Charles Darwin. Hopefully it won't be too fiddly. Anyway, I'm going to do that now. Obviously he needs 2 feet, so, and the natural colour I have is this dark grey colour, so let's get started. And I'm going to start the timer, of course. So it's fairly dark at the moment. So I've been crocheting for about half an hour, I think. So I finished the first foot. It was all right. It was a little bit fiddly around the toes, I guess. And then I started the second one. This is just the bottom, just before I section it off for the 3 toes. I'm going to be honest and say I can't really be bothered. It was a little bit fiddly, and it's a Sunday evening. I've been busy all weekend and I just really can't be bothered. I know that my Thursday self is not going to thank me for it, because if I just got it done, if I just spent like 10 minutes doing the toes, then I could move on to the next bit. But I just can't be bothered, to be honest. I've got work tomorrow. I'm listening to an audiobook as well. It's called The Anxious Generation. It's very interesting, but it's very heavy on advice and facts and figures. So that's probably hurting my head a little bit as well. So I'm leaving it for tonight. I'm just going to get on with my evening. I'm going to have some food. It's like 8:15 at the moment. I haven't had anything to eat yet. So me and my husband are going to eat, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it. And yeah, I don't know whether I'll get any time to crochet again before Thursday. I am off work on Thursdays and Fridays. This is quite a concentrating, this pattern that I need to concentrate on quite a lot. So yeah, I think it'll have to be Thursday that I start this again rather than an evening. So yeah, I will catch you on Thursday, most likely. Ignore the fact that my hair is wet. Clearly I've just had a shower. It is Tuesday morning. So yesterday morning I finished another sort of little claw. Or foot is cuter, isn't it? I finished another foot. This was such a pain. So I had the same when I made, you can see Charles Darwin behind me, his fingers are the same. So you crochet the foot, and then you separate it and do sort of like 4 stitches, make a round, and then you crochet it up to make the feet or the fingers or toes or whatever it is. Crocheting into a round of 4 stitches is really, really difficult. It's not difficult, it's really finicky, or one of the words. It's just really difficult. So yesterday morning I was not having a good time because I was trying to get it done before I left, and just one of the toes kept going wrong. I think it was this one that's a bit shorter. So I just had to keep pulling it back. So I think it took me around 20 minutes, 25 minutes to do the toes on the foot. I didn't time how long it took me to do the other toes, but yeah, not the best. This morning I'm going to see what else there is, or what's next, not what else there is to do, because there's quite a lot, because this is all I've got so far. So the next part I think was the thighs, but I don't know how they're worked, whether they're worked onto the body or onto the feet. So I'll have a look at that. I think everything gets sewn together at the end, but I've just got some time this morning. It's 5 to 8. I've got about half an hour or so before I go for work, so I'm going to put a timer on, start the timer that's going at the moment. So it's 2:20, 2 hours and 20 minutes so far. So start the timer, start a timer for 30 minutes so that I'm not late for work, and see how much I can get done in that time, and hopefully I'll have a little catch up with you before I go. I'm just really keen to get this bird done, and also to finish the audiobook that I'm listening to at the moment. As I said, it's really good. You'll hear my laptop starting up. It's called The Anxious Generation. Now, it's a really good book, but there's a lot of facts and figures in it, and I feel it might be better suited for people who have children or people who are going to action the points. Whereas at the moment, obviously, me and my husband don't have children, and we definitely don't have children who have access to the internet or anything like that. That would be many years off, or a few years off at least. So although it's interesting, there's not a lot that I can put into practice. I was thinking that I'll finish listening to the book, because then it can go towards my finished books of the year, and then I can buy the physical book, just so that I've got it to reference the key points when we do have children, or when we come to the issue of should they have access to the internet, should they not. But I recommend it to a lot of people. Right, I've got the pattern. Slight detour. So after I've done the feet, it's doing the legs. Okay, so I work slip stitches into the body, chain, and then attach it to the foot, and then double crochet up again. So that should be fairly simple. Let's see. I'll see you in a bit. Hopefully we will have some feet attached to our little Bertie the fledgling soon. So I've put the legs onto Bert the fledgling now. However, I haven't sewn in any ends, so at the moment he looks a bit like a silky chicken. So before I do the thighs, which are slip stitched into the top of the legs, I am going to sew in all of these ends and deal with those so that he looks normal. So I have just finished the top of the beak, so nearly 3 hours so far. So you basically make a cone, and then I think what you do is crochet into the back end to make sort of one long cone. You gather it, or you fold it in the middle, and then that will be the beak. Obviously it's going to be quite big because of the size of Bertie. At the moment it looks like that's not what it's going to look like, obviously, but it's quite big. But then baby birds, their mouths are very big, so fair. So after I do the top of the beak, I've got to do the eyes, which is one round, so that should be really easy. The wings, the tail, and feathers. So I'm hoping, to be honest, that it's fairly on the straight and narrow now. Is that what I want to say? Quick is another thing I could say. Yeah, so feet are done. Second half of the beak, eyes, wings, and feathers. And the feathers are what goes on his head. So that's deciding how many I add. Yeah, I'm quite impressed that it's only taken sort of just around 3 hours so far. I'm hoping that it does take sort of the 5 hour mark. Between 4 and 5 hours I'm expecting. But yeah, it looks really cute so far. I'm really excited to get it finished and then move on to the next project. But also, so far the process has been quite nice, apart from the toes, which were always going to be a bit difficult. It's been fine. The thighs were fine, crocheting into the main body. I thought that would be a bit difficult, but it's not at all. Making the legs is easy as well, and yeah, it's very straightforward. I'm looking forward to taking the final picture with the nest. I've got a few ideas, so I'm just trying to put them together and see which works best. So yeah, I think that I will probably, depending what our plans are for tonight, me and my husband, it might be that I start working on Bert tomorrow morning again for maybe half an hour or so, just so I can work a bit quicker and get him done, because he's so cute, and I'm waiting for his eyes to go on and his beak and his features to come together really. But yeah, anyway, I will hopefully see you tomorrow. Have a good Tuesday. Bye. So it is Wednesday today, so just to show you what I did yesterday. So yesterday morning I think I did some crocheting, but I can't remember. If I did, I probably hopefully gave you a bit of an update. So last night I did quite a lot of the crochet bird. So here is what he looks like at the moment. I did his little eyes and finished his beak and did his little legs as well and his thighs. So his thighs were really easy, his legs were really easy, his feet were a bit fiddly, but that's okay. And his beak was fine. His eyes, I was a bit worried that they might fall out, but I'm hoping that they don't. But yeah, that's how he looks at the moment. The last two things that need to be done are the wings, the tail, and his feathers. It's the last three things really. So I am going to put the timer back on and start his wings again. It's now Wednesday evening. So this is the timer at the moment. Oh, let's not show you everything. So that's the timer at the moment, 3:36. So just less than, no actually, an hour and 20 minutes, and then I will have completed it within the 5 hours. Gosh, my head is not working today. So I'm going to start the timer. I'm going to listen to some more of my audiobook. So I am keeping myself busy whilst my husband is playing guitar and doing a workout. So I'm hoping that I will be able to do wing 1 and wing 2 before he's finished, but I'm not 100% sure. But I will let you know either way. Just a side note, this is how much of one of the colours is left. This is my natural colour and this is how much is left. I will weigh the yarn at the end so that you can see how much is left, but this is quite a lot. Hello and happy Thursday morning. Last night I finished a wing, as I think I showed you, but I didn't do anything else because, as I was saying, my husband was ready soon and I didn't want to start it and not finish it. So in the end I didn't finish the other wing. So today the plan is to finish the second wing, do the tail and the feathers. I will say with the wings it was a little bit of trust the process. I didn't actually know what it was asking me to do or what I was making by following the instructions, if that makes sense. So I literally finished them step by step and it did work out. Obviously the pattern designers do sort of know what they're doing. So yeah. I have not sewn the wing on yet. I did sort of weave in the ends, and if I need to cut them anymore I will do, but that's sort of what it's going to look like. I'll have a look at the pictures to see better. And it is just nearly 3 hours and 56 minutes. So I'm going to start the timer, probably put a timer on for half an hour and just see where I am then. And yeah, see where it goes apart from that. But hopefully I'll be finished before 5 hours. I think the wing took me like 10-15 minutes. It really wasn't very long. And the feathers, I believe that I can add as much as or as little as I want. So we'll see how that goes. But so far I haven't used very much of the secondary colour, so I will probably have quite a lot of yarn left over, which I will have to find something to do with it. So since I last saw you, it has been 4 hours and 35 minutes. I finished the second wing. Can't remember which one I had and hadn't done, and I sewed them into place. And I also started the feathers as well. So the next lot of tail feathers go underneath, and they will be in contrast yarn, so green. Then the only thing to do is to add some feathers to the head. So I think they seem really straightforward, to be fair. I think I'm going to have a look at some of the other designs and just see how many feathers I want to add and where I want to add them. The ones around the sides look quite cute, but the ones on top look cute as well. So I'm going to have a look more into it. I am going to have coffee with a friend, and then I will be back afterwards and finishing it. And hopefully 25 minutes will be long enough to finish this guy, and then it will be literally on the 5-hour mark. I think the thing that will probably take the longest is for me to figure out where I want the extra feathers, and obviously the more feathers I add, the longer it will take as well. What I'm going to make sure as well is closer to the time when I'm doing the feathers that I don't keep an eye out on the time, because I don't want to add more feathers or not have as many, just so that it sticks within the 5-hour mark, if that makes sense. I want it to be as representative as possible, so yeah, very cute so far though. Looking forward to the tail being done. The tail is done. The tail is done. It's so extra, I love it. So you've got the wings and the tail, which is super cute. Then it's just for the feathers on the head, so I'm not sure how to do it. So let me show you the pattern. So I think I showed you earlier, but I will show you again. So these are some of the examples. So the pink one only has 3. The yellow one has no feathers on its head. You can see the raspberry pink / red one that has some around the edges of its head. This salmon pink one, this one here, has loads. This one has like a little Mohican. Again, the white one, I think it just has it sort of around a couple at the back of its head. The turquoisey ones has not got that many. And the grey purpley one doesn't seem to have much either. I think it is just like 2 or 3 on the top. So what's quite interesting as well is they've got a mix of different colours. So some have used both of the colours. For example, this pink one here has used a mix of different colours, but mainly the contrast colour. And it's got 2 of the main ones just over the eyebrows. This red one only uses the contrast colour, but obviously that's quite similar. This one uses a mix of both, I think. Or maybe it doesn't have any. Oh, it's so difficult to see. I think I'd like to do some of each. See, this one here, the main example they've got, he's got 3. So 1 of the main colour at the front of the hair, and then 2 in sort of a V shape behind. I think I might do that but space them out a little bit more. I don't know. I'm going to see how it goes. But yeah, that's the last thing, and then I am done. I am also crocheting in all of the ends as I go, so that's probably taken a bit of time as well, but I will see you. I'm going to crochet manically and then I will get back to you. Bertie is finished. So it took me just over 5 hours. 5 hours and 8 minutes. I think that may be due to the fact that I'm weaving in all of my ends as I go, which does take a bit longer, but here he is. He looks a bit special, but we all look special sometimes, so you know, let's give him the extra love. His legs are backwards, which isn't the best. Yeah, so his little legs are here, his little thighs, his hair. I did 7 I did 7 feathers in the end. And yeah, his little tail. So he's super cute. So for the final thoughts of my Bert, or the Toft Bert kit / competition. So overall it was really easy to do. It took me just over 5 hours. On the website it said between 1 to 5 hours to complete this kit. This was one of the first times I've made a bird through their kit. As I said, it did take me just over 5 hours, which wasn't too bad. The feathers I thought initially would be quite complicated to do. They look quite cool, I think. It's a cool effect. They were very easy, as were the feathers on top of his head. The body itself was simple. The thighs were simple. Everything was pretty simple. The only thing that I found a little bit difficult were the feet. As I said, they were just quite fiddly to get right, but that's okay. The legs as well were good. Before I bought it, I already thought that Bertie looked a little bit special. I don't know a better way of putting it. He looked a bit simple. Bless him. But I knew that before I bought the kit. I was kind of expecting him to come out looking like this, because that's very similar to how the other Toft birds looked, very similar to him. I wouldn't have changed anything. I like the way that he came out. I wouldn't necessarily have bought it if it was just a normal kit, if it wasn't a competition, and if it hadn't have fit my granddad so well, i.e. this will be a Christmas present for my granddad. If it hadn't have fit with his interests, I probably wouldn't have bought it, to be honest, just because birds aren't my favourite. I prefer animals. The same as fish aren't really my favourite. I prefer just animals, normal animals. But the competition aspect of it is really cool. I'm looking forward to entering the competition. I will have to show my entry at the end of a different video, because I haven't taken it at the time of filming this video. And the mystery colour is quite a cool aspect of it as well. So I was looking to either get the sage or the turquoise colour. I wouldn't necessarily have put them both together, because the sage is quite subtle, whereas the turquoise is more bright. But I think together they look quite cool. And again, because I didn't really have a choice in it, I quite like them. It'll probably grow on me. And I think that my granddad will like the colours as well. So that was quite a cool aspect to it. The instructions were very straightforward. There wasn't anything that really confused me. I don't think I did anything wrong either. So quickly, I just realised that I didn't go through the weights of the yarn that's left. So for the grey, I have 19 grams left. So I used about 6 grams. For this colour, sage, I have 22 grams left. So I used about 3 grams. And of the turquoise, I have 13 grams left, so I used about 12 grams. So from a 75 gram kit, I only used 22 grams. So I have enough to make another bird if I really wanted to. I don't think I will, but yeah. So I didn't use that much yarn. So this is me and Bert saying thank you very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you would like to see my final photo before the video comes up, feel free to follow me on Instagram. The link will be below. And if you've entered this competition yourself, good luck. I hope you enjoyed the process as much as I did. And apart from that, take care, all the best. Bye.